everybody. Welcome to a very dreary Friday. I hear for Mother's Day we may get snow. We've heard of the Barefoot Contessa. I'm going to be the pantless parent from now on unless we can get out of our house soon. So my very sweet friend Aviva told me when I thought I wasn't going to make a video this week, she said, no, it's Mother's Day. You have to do something of your mothers. And I thought that's a really nice idea. I have to tell you, I had the best mother in the world. Loved me. She was my best friend. I think we were together every single day. The best mom in the world. I could never compare, although I do look exactly like my mother. This cake I'm making is her angel food cake. Angel food cake is very difficult to make and lots of people don't make it. If you've never had a homemade angel food cake, it's nothing like the angel food cakes you get in the store. Nothing. It is completely different. It has originated in the States before the 1900s, and there's a whole bunch of different stories as to how it originated, but it is not a gluten-free, but a low gluten cake because we use cake flour. Cake flour has about 8% less of what makes it gluten than regular all-purpose flour, and it's a fat-free cake. It has become very popular. Now, my oldest daughter, you can see a picture here with her grandma and her grandpa. My mom always called her Angel Face. So, and my dad. So she thought this cake was called Angel Face cake. She was sure it was just for her. So we're making Angel Face cake today for her, plus my mom's chicken, which is going to be a perfect dinner tonight for a Friday night dinner. You're going to love it. Anyway, I'm going to start here. So what we have is my mixer with the whisk attachment. I have left these egg whites out all night so they'd be room temperature. I actually just buy the boxed egg whites because you have to use so many eggs otherwise. You need 1.5 cups of egg whites, which I'm going to put in a metal bowl. You never want to use a plastic bowl. It doesn't whip properly. And I think if you'll remember from watching one of my other videos, if you want to make sure there's nothing in your bowl, to make sure that it's not had any oil in it so the peaks come up, so the egg whites foam up, rub it with a little bit of lemon juice or vinegar. Now I'm going to put this down. I'm going to beat the egg whites until they're very, very stiff. You can watch, and then I will be adding the rest of the stuff when it gets foamy. Cream of tartar. As high as your mix master can go. Okay, so you want to do that till nice peaks come up. So I'm going to show you how you know. When you do this and the peaks stand, you know you've done a good job of it. Now, that is the most important part because we don't put baking soda in the cake. We don't put anything to rise it. So the most important part is the egg whites. And now we're going to add a little bit slowly. We're going to add about a cup of this sugar. This is 1 3/4 cups. We're going to add about 1 cup of this sugar. And keep it going nice and fast. And then we're saving 3/4 cup of the sugar, which we're going to sift with the flour. Our crazy cat's behind me. I wrote some notes for myself. This cake has 65% fewer calories than a chocolate cake of its same size. That's why so many people like it when they're trying to be good. The origin of this cake, like I said, it's from the United States. Some people say it's from Pennsylvania because that's where most of the cake pans were first made. The cream of tartar that I put in before is an egg white stabilizer. So it helps with the baking of it. It helps with the egg whites growing and helps with the structure of the cake. Some people don't put cream of tartar in at all. I do. If you have a copper bowl, it actually works better. Never use a plastic bowl to do this. Now, in here, I have cake flour. Now, my mother's favorite cake flour was Swan's Down cake and pastry flour, which I can't seem to find at all, this works fine. If you can't find cake flour at all, you can use a cup of all-purpose flour minus 2 tablespoons of it, and then add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to it and sift it a few times. That way you get a simulation of the cake flour. Cake flour is just a finely milled, soft flour. It's really delicate. It's got a low protein content, so it's a little bit better for gluten-free, but it's not gluten-free. That's about all I can tell you for that. Now, here's the interesting part. This is actually a very delicate cake to make. So I almost never listen to sifting my flour and my sugar. This is the one time I do. So I'm just putting it through a strainer, can be a sifter, whichever. And you're actually supposed to do this 4 times. So I will just do this. So we're mixing the flour, the salt, and the sugar all together. So the dry ingredients, and you can see it just gets all the clumps out, it makes it nice and soft. I will continue doing this, and then I will show you what we're going to do after. Okay, now we're going to give it one last little beat. The flavoring of angel food cake comes from 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and most importantly, 1 teaspoon of almond extract. This is pure almond extract. You can use simulated if that's all you have. And that's where the actual flavor comes from. Now, my mother always told me that when I was making this cake, it flopped a lot of the time, and it does, because it's a very delicate cake to make. You don't want to let that aerated egg white flatten. Now, the recipes today, sorry, I'm smelling the almond extract. Recipes today say you can do this on a very light mixture. But what my mother used to do was just put it in, and she cut through the batter and folded. And she cut through the batter and folded. And you keep doing that, but you don't want to flatten the whites, the egg whites. And that's why the sifting helps so much. Now today, because we have these much better rotary or regular blenders, mix masters, they say you can do it on a number 1 just until it's mixed, which that's the way my mom did it. I'm going to put the rest in, and I am going to move it to a number 1, and I'll show you how we just mix that much quicker. My first cake I ever made came out this thick because I didn't listen to my mother and I did it much too hard, because we're always used to mixing up cakes. This one is very delicate. You don't mix it like that. You do it very slowly, just until the mixture of the flour and the sugar, which has all been sifted together, and the salt is in, and that's probably enough. Now, the cake pans are a whole other thing. Angel food cake pans are very different. My mother used to beg people if they saw them at garage sales or anywhere to please buy them. I don't even know where you can get these cake pans anymore. You've probably seen them around. The difference with an angel food cake pan is the stands on it. The stands make it so that when it comes out, we can put it in, we can invert it as soon as it comes out of the oven, and the air flows all the way through. What we need to do for an angel cake pan, angel food cake, is you never grease it. That's what's unusual about it. Never grease it. And that cream of tartar we put in helps it stick to the sides. And it's sticking to the sides that we need to make it grow properly. So it's a very unusual cake in that way, because you have to let it adhere to the sides, which you don't normally do. So I'm just making sure all that flour went in, very gently turning it. And there is still some here. So you just cut through to fold properly. You cut through and you turn. You cut through and you turn. My mother used to have a wonderful spoon, which I've just recently broke, which is a little spoon. Well, it was actually a big spoon, but it had holes all in it, and that's what she used. So the less you do this, the better it is. So now we're just going to quickly pour it in here, and it's very important that it does touch all the sides of this pan, because that's when it adheres to it, that's what it allows it, how it grows. It's a strange concept, but that's what it is. If you don't have one of these pans, you can use just a round pan, but then invert it maybe on a cup or on you can put a clean can or a can that's covered in tin foil, and you can put that on it just so that it's not sealed to the plate, so that you can actually get the air flowing, so it can have the air going around to cool. So I'm just making sure it's touching all the sides like this. I have the oven set at 375. Some people say to put it in a cold oven and you can bake it for an hour. I'm going to put a 375 oven for 45 minutes, and then I will show you how it comes out in a little bit. So my angel food cake came out of the oven, and I've turned it upside down on its little legs. It did rise. It doesn't rise a ton, but it did rise, and it's cooling. The air is going all through here, and it will be nice and cool, and then I'll show you how to take it out. You have to cut it around and then use a serrated knife to cut it in pieces. So my mom was famous for this chicken. Everybody called it Rose's chicken or Grandma's chicken. It's funny, my kids have had it so much that they never like it anymore, but when you make it for people, they love it. And I've always said I should open up a kiosk and sell this chicken. And maybe now that I'm jobless, I might do that, I don't know. So this is 2 cut up chickens. You want the fatty pieces, like the backs, to lay on top. In here I have little potatoes, I cut up carrots. It's good with almost any root vegetable in it. What I like is the potatoes and the carrots, and if you have sweet potato, it's very good. Here you're gonna put about 5 cloves of garlic, crushed up. It's gonna seem like a lot, but it's not. 2 onions, chopped big, it doesn't matter because they're going to melt down. This has been sitting in kosher salt water for about an hour. So ice water with about half a cup of kosher salt. So the chicken already has a nice, almost like a brine to it. My mother always called it koshering the chicken. What it really does is it suck out all the impurities, and it just actually seeps into the chicken. It makes it very good. So I don't need too much salt. I'll say maybe a tablespoon of salt on this. Okay. So we have the garlic, we have 2 full onions, about a tablespoon of salt, and then we're gonna put a lot of pepper. I'm saying 2 tablespoons of pepper. The most important ingredient is paprika. I like sweet paprika. I hate smoked paprika. Some people like it. I don't. I like sweet paprika on this. And you're gonna do it until it looks red. And you're not gonna have any oil in here, anything like that. The oil from the chicken will be enough to brown these potatoes. I'm just gonna mix it around a little bit with my tools of my hands. Try and put the backs and things on top so that all the fatty pieces go on top so that the potatoes get the fat on them. I will put this in a 500-degree oven, and I will keep stirring it from the bottom every 15 minutes. It will only take about an hour to cook at 500. You'll have the best chicken dinner you've ever had. And it's complete. You have potatoes, you have carrots, you have chicken. I'm making a challah. It will be a delicious supper. And remember, Mother's Day is going to be a fun time for people, but it's especially going to be a hard time for some people. People close to me I know are going to have a hard time this Mother's Day, but try and remember the happy times, and that's why I am making things that my mother loved to make. So happy Mother's Day, everybody, and I'll be back to show you our finished dinner. So this is the first mixing of this. So you'll see the chicken has started to let out its oil. It's on the bottom. I'm going to take a spatula and I'm going to really mix from the bottom. That's the most important thing, is that you keep mixing from the bottom so that the oil and all the juices and the onions and garlic get everywhere. If it's looking a little pale like this is, I'm going to put a little bit more paprika on the other side now. And this will crisp up. I'm going to put a little more paprika. Looks like it's got lots of pepper. And it will go back in the oven now. And this was the first 20 minutes. I'm just going to keep doing it till it's about an hour, and you'll see the finished product.